Most people think black boots stay black forever, but some boots slowly turn brown. Brown showing through isn't necessarily a bad sign. And honestly, this is the part that confuses a lot of people the first time they see it. You spend $1,000 on a pair of black horsebutt underneath boots. Then 6 months later, brown starts showing through the toe, the heel, the shaft, and suddenly your expensive black boots don't even look black anymore. Some people love it, some people absolutely hate it. But the strange part is certain boots are actually designed for this to happen. And once you understand why, you start looking at the wear very differently. Because this isn't random aging. There's a reason some engineer boots slowly reveal brown underneath, while others stay flat black for years. And today I want to show you exactly what's happening. The first sign usually doesn't look dramatic. It starts small. The edge of the toe starts warming up a little. The shaft crease doesn't look fully black anymore. And the leather around the heel counter starts picking up a tobacco tone under sunlight. At first, you almost think that's all lighting. Then one day you brush the boots and the brown's still there. That's usually the moment people realize something underneath the black surface is starting to come through. And horseback does this in a really interesting way. Because horseback isn't just about the surface color. It has density, tension, natural oils, a tighter fabric structure. So when the top black finish slowly wears down, the leather underneath doesn't reveal itself evenly. Some areas stay dark, some areas warm up faster. Some spots almost glow brown under sunlight. And that unevenness is actually what makes it interesting. It starts looking less like a clean factory finish, and more like surface shaped by movement. Those areas are constantly compressing and stretching with every step. And over time, the black stops looking like permanent color. It starts looking more like a layer. This is where people usually bring up the word Teacore. The word gets thrown around too easily now. A lot of people are not call any black leather with visible wear Teacore. But traditional Teacore leather usually works like this. The leather underneath is brown. Then a darker black finish gets applied over the surface. As the outer black layer wears down, the brown underneath slowly becomes visible. That's why all the underneath boots, military boots, and vintage leather jackets sometimes develop that warm brown character after years of wear. The important part is this: the brown was always there. You are not creating new color, you are exposing what already exists underneath. And horseback can make this fact look especially dramatic. Because horseback reacts strongly to pressure, flexing, friction, sunlight, and oil movement. The leather doesn't wear a perfectly clean pattern. It develops zones. Some parts stay deep black. Other areas start revealing darker espresso tones. The medium brown starts coming through, especially around the edges where the leather warms toward a tobacco shade. That layer transition is what people chase. And this is why some heavily worn engineer boots look better than brand new ones. The leather starts developing visual contrast. They stop looking like plain black boots and start showing how they actually been worn. But here's the important part. Not every black boot will do this. Some boots stay black for years, and people get disappointed because they expect the dramatic brown patina. But the leather never changes much. Usually that comes down to the finish. Some leathers use heavier pigmentation, thicker surface correction, or more uniform coating. The goal there is stability, consistency, cleaner appearance over time. Those boots can still age beautifully, but the aging happens differently. Instead of revealing brown underneath, the leather may just soften, polish up where it gets most contact, and develop more in texture. The color itself barely changes, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some people prefer cleaner black but that stays visually controlled for years. But horseback Teacore engine nippers attract a very specific type of person, usually someone who actually wants visible change, someone who likes seeing the leather react, because the surface starts reflecting on real use over time. And once the brown starts appearing, you stop trying to keep the boots looking untouched. And here's something interesting. A lot of people think Teacore develops evenly, but one of these boots is aging much faster than the other. I'll explain why that happens later in the video, because that actually reveals something important about how engineer boots wear over time. Engineer boots are especially good at developing visible patina, and the big reason is the structure. Unlike lace-up boots, engineer boots have larger uninterrupted leather panels. The shaft flexes in a different way. The instep falls more aggressively. The ankle area collapses with wear. The small leather constantly reacting to movement. And because engineer boots usually fit through pressure instead of laces, the leather moves around your walking pattern in a very direct way. That's why heavily worn engineer boots often become visually unique. The shaft shape changes, the toe spring becomes more visible, the rails deepen, the leather starts reflecting your stride. And with the horsebutt, those changes become even more noticeable, because the leather has so much tension at the beginning. At first, horsebutt can almost feel rigid, dry, dense. Then slowly the surface starts relaxing. The brown tones become deeper, and suddenly the boots stop looking stiff and factory made. Some of the best looking Teacore boots don't age in a perfectly even way. That irregularity creates depths, and the depths is what makes aged leather visually addictive. Now here's where people overdo it. Once they see brown appearing, they start forcing the process. Aggressive brushing, heavy conditioning, scratching the leather, even sanding the surface. Personally, forced decor usually looks unnatural, because natural wear is irregular. The toe edges differently from the shaft. The buckle area changes different from the instep. Wear never develops evenly across the whole boot. Real wear patterns usually have logic behind them. Artificial aging often breaks that logic. Natural decor usually develops slower than people expect, especially with horsebutt. Sometimes the first few months barely show anything. Then suddenly, one season later, the brown becomes much more visible. Sunlight affects the leather. Dry weather speeds things up. Indigo transfer adds even more variation. The real character of engineer boot doesn't show up after a few weeks. It usually takes years of wear for that to happen. Earlier I mentioned that one boot often ages faster than the other. Even though Teacore takes time to develop, it rarely develops evenly. It usually comes down to how you use each foot. Your dominant foot flexes differently. Your walking pattern shifts pressure differently. One shaft rubs against standing harder. One toe drags slightly more during stride. That means one boot can start revealing the brown core before the other one. Over time, those small differences start to add up. Two people can buy the same pair, same leather, same lust, same black finish, and 2 years later, they can look completely different. That's why these boots almost start feeling personal. The leather slowly records how you move. So when black horseback engineer boots start turning brown over time, that usually isn't failure. That's the surface revealing what was always underneath. And this is probably why Teacore leather is so satisfying to watch. You start noticing which parts of the boot change first. Every crease changes its surface. Every season changes the tone. Every year puts more depth all over leather. The wear becomes part of the look. And eventually the boots stop looking like the pair you urgent about. That's the entire appeal. Some engineer boots don't really look complete until the brown starts showing through.